Samupe, Sampadia, Chimafidi non kotu, era one radio. Samupe, Jumpadia, Chimafidi non kotu, era one radio. Oh, and Yumpankuma, Chimtu, Asampankuma.
They are four women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many. The funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In common BISS chain, a dead, as in Takrenu assume the dead, the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and on Taibo channel. Kaise, so we see the real in common getting ya. What brabon tete, we nyan konkonsa, we the real in common getting.
Hello. Good evening, Era One Radio listeners and viewers all over the world. It's another Saturday, the first day of November 2025. Wow. All too soon, 2025 is coming to an end. Well, we are back on the health is wealth, protect it. Your health is your wealth, protect it. Your health is your wealth, protect it. You can have a room full of dollars or pounds sterling or yen or Ghanaian cedis or Nigerian, Naira, which to me these days doesn't amount to too much. Apologies to my Dr. Oloyede. That Naira is not too much to us, but you can have a room full of whatever currency. But if your health is not good, it doesn't amount to anything. You can have all the goodies in this life, but if you don't have the wealth the health to enjoy it, you have all men or women most miserable. That is why our health is very important. I mean, recently I was taken aback with Hill, and I realized that wow, I have taken things for granted. Health is really health, so protect it. Well, tonight we are blessed again to have my co-host, Dr. Babatunde Oloyede. He and I go way back. In fact, we all graduated from the same school, Warden University. He went ahead of me, and it was because of his influence that I also pursued my PhD in Warden. So kudos to him. I always owe him that gratitude that he inspired me to join him to also get that degree. So, Doc, thank you very much. Right, tonight we are looking at the kidney functions and laboratory tests. How does your kidney function? And what are the tests that can indicate that your kidneys are in trouble or they are functioning well? We're going to look at that today. Tonight, he is going to be in the main seat. I'll be behind moderating it. And then after he's done, we'll bombard him with questions. So I'll give him the driver's seat and then he will talk extensively and a lot. Again, this is the Health is Your Wealth show, subdivision of Era One broadcast. The number to call in is 2402-802-633. And texting is 510-931-094. Actually, I prefer the texting because I can see all the text, your questions, your messages here, and I can relate to them. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and also Modern Ghana Radio. But let me put up a disclaimer quickly that both of us are not medical doctors. We have to put out here, so we are not going to diagnose your problem. We are PhD, holders. We are not medical officers, so don't ask us to diagnose your problem that we put that out so you think that okay, these guys are trying to be true. No, we are not. We are medical technologists who have studied laboratory testing and resulting. We run your blood and other human samples for the doctors to diagnose and prescribe your medications for you. So we are very essential when it comes to healthcare. So this presentation is not to diagnose your kidney or medical problem, but to alert you of what to look for if you think you are not there as far as your kidney is concerned. All right, let me welcome my co-host, my guest, Dr. Babatunde Oloyede. You know him already. I'm not going to read all his bio here. You know him already. He is in charge of the chemistry department in the Federal Medical Center lab, and he holds a very, very, very high position. Doc, you are welcome.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's a good thing to be here once again, and I want to thank you for inviting me. Today is a very peculiar day because we are going to be talking about one important organ in the body that helps us to get rid of all the waste and also to help us keep healthy. And let's dive right into it.
All right, but before we do that, Doc, let me ask you a question. Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
today is the 1st of November, and we are still in the shutdown mode. Would
Yes.
you say the country is under stress mode?
Well, it depends on what you want to call it. But if the situation around now, we can, sum up everything into one thing that God is in control.
Amen.
So, as you and I know, there is nothing you can do from your hand. There is nothing I can do from my hand. So, like the children of Israelites, when they were in Egypt, God said to Moses, He said, "Do you believe that I can take you guys out of this place?"
Hmm.
And Moses answered, and he said, "Yes." And God said, "Well, you have to go." And Moses said, "If you don't go with us, we are not."
That's true.
But when God says they should go, and He says He's going to go with them, then they move. So, whatever is happening now, I just want to encourage everyone, this is the right time to move very close. That is, if you are not closer to God before, this should help you to understand that nothing is permanent.
That's true.
It's only God that is permanent. So you will anchor your faith and your hope on Him. And whatever He says, because God never lies, whatever He says, He can also bring to pass.
Amen.
I will leave it there.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Doc, for the inspiration. But before we continue, I'm sure if I leave you, you're going to turn this broadcast into a Saturday evening sermon or church service. So thank you very much. I know you can easily roll and give us a sermon right now. But let me ask you a question: has there been any study that shows a correlation between stress and kidney functions that you know of? Maybe one day we should do that study. Do you know of any study that
Well,
correlates stress with kidney function?
well, I won't say stress per se, but I will say your high blood pressure is
Mhm.
what indicates that maybe a lot of stress could also culminate to bringing up high blood pressure. And when your blood pressure is high, that means your kidney is working too hard
Too hard.
because your kidney is supposed to be a filter that filters all the bad stuff from your blood and get rid of them. So when it's working too hard, then your blood will be increasing in pressure.
Okay.
And what that does is it can shut down some of the other organs, which you don't want. And also, it can also give you some kind of anxiety. People that have high blood pressure, you will know the way they behave, the way they react to things, and the way they even, we might be in a group of people, you see the way they'll be sweating.
That's true.
So you have to monitor it when it gets to that point. But before it gets to that point, you need to see your clinician and let them help you to monitor it properly.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, so in this study, we're going to talk about the kidney functions. We are not going into details about everything, but then we're going to relate it to lab since we are lab people. And
Exactly.
if you mention the kidney, some of the things that people will be looking for when it comes to the kidney function will be stuff like diagnosis, test results, treatment options, lifestyle changes, which includes, what are the causes of kidney issues, the stages of, because there are stages of kidney disease. And like Doc mentioned, what blood pressure and lab results like the GFR, the urine albumin, what all that means. And people should also be able to ask, questions about their dietary and how lifestyle adjustments, potential complications, and whether dialysis or transplant might be needed. These are all lifetime changes that people ask, but then that is not what we are doing tonight. We are looking at the laboratory aspect because all we do is they give us a blood sample or whatever sample it is, fluid, body fluid. We run them on our machines. We give the results to the doctors, and they sit down, they analyze, they call, they tell you, hey, based on your lab results, this is what we think is going on. So that is the area we are going to tackle tonight. Anyway, well, I'll leave it. I'll leave the realms to Doc to take us through the lectures, and then if you have your questions, please bring in your questions. All right, Doc, over to you.
All right, thank you so much. So
You're
I'm going to break this down to the lowest, minimum for everyone to understand.
Sure, 50.
Our kidneys, we have two pairs of kidneys. We have one on the left side and one on the right side. The essential kidney functions, I'm going to go through it briefly. Kidney filter blood waste, like I said earlier, regulate fluids, balance electrolytes, and maintain acid-base homeostasis. Okay? And also this kidney also can produce hormones. Kidney produce hormones like erythropoietin and renin. Okay? Critical for blood pressure and red blood cell production. Remember, I mentioned earlier that it controls our blood pressure. Now, the laboratory kidney tests, such as blood urea nitrogen, serum creatinine, EGFR, and urinalysis, assess kidney function and detect dysfunction early. So if they tell you to go and do your urinalysis in the lab, your doctor is probably looking for something from your kidneys, whether your kidney is performing properly or there is a dysfunction somewhere. So don't take it for granted. Next here, I'll be going through how the kidney looks like. I think you can see the picture there. We have the macro section of the kidney, and also we have the micro section of the kidney. On the left side, you will see the macro, the other slide.
Okay.
Doc. Yeah, this one. You see the renal medulla. You see the inside. You see the renal artery and vein, and also the renal vein. I don't want to bore you so much with the details, but the nephron is actually what I'm getting at. Mm-hmm. That is the functional unit of the kidney. That's what filters your blood from the glomerulus down to the collecting tubules. You see how the thing looks convoluted. That is, looks round, and it looks like intestine. For some of us that are from Africa, when they kill goat or cow, how the intestine look like.
And people go running after that.
So, yeah, that's the macro section, and that is the functional unit of the kidney. The glomerulus is where the fluid will come in, and it goes through it, it filters it, it takes what it needs from it, and the other are going out through the bladder and, gotten out of your body through the urethra. All right. So, like I said, we have the nephron, which is the kidney functional filtering unit, like I said earlier, and the glomerulus, the one that looks like a cup like this, that filters the blood, allowing water and small solutes through, retaining the proteins. We'll see the proximal tubules there, and also we see the loop of Henle concentration. The loop of Henle concentrates urine via water reabsorption and salt transport mechanism. I'm not going to bore you with the details of that also. So, excretion of metabolic waste. The kidney, the next slide. The kidneys filter and eliminate waste products like urea and creatinine through urine. And now we're talking about homeostatic regulation. What is the function mainly of kidneys? Kidneys maintain pH balance. For some of us that have done chemistry, we know what pH is. pH is what is used to ensure that something is either acid or base.
Alkaline, okay.
So you want to know whether this thing is acidic or whether this thing is maybe alkali or base. So, and also it's going to tell you your water level and electrolyte concentration for cellular health. That's what kidney does. And endocrine functions, like I said, some hormones are produced, the erythropoietin, to stimulate red blood cells production, and renin to regulate blood pressure. Renin to regulate blood pressure. Remember, I said earlier that it helps us to regulate our blood pressure, because when your blood pressure is not regulated, it can lead to so many other things in your body. Now, vitamin D activation. The kidney also activates vitamin D, essential for healthy bones and muscles. Your vitamin D, some people will say, oh, you sit in the sun for some time, and that's where you get your vitamin D. That's not true. So your kidney activates vitamin D, which is really essential for your bone health and also to help you to grow your muscles. All right. Now we have, Dr. Boyson said earlier that we work in the lab. But most of all, we work in the lab and also we participate in the diagnosis of whatever disease a patient has. Because when they send their sample to the lab, we process it. We run them through the instrument, and the instrument gives us some values. From those values, we can say this is what is going on. If it's critical, we advise the clinician what we found, and they'll go ahead and treat the patient. So, like I said earlier, the process of doing this in the lab is of two folds. The sample is collected, it's being processed, then whoever is a medical lab scientist receive it and send it through the instrument. And whatever the instrument spits out, the medical lab scientist will now interpret the result and send to the clinician. Because if the result, for example, if the result is out of whack, let's say by any means, a sample was sent to the lab and the potassium was like 10.
Critical.
Even though it's critical, but I'm not going to release that result. I'm going to ask the sample to be redrawn. That is, if I did not see any hemolysis. Or if let's say I see any hemolysis, I will ask the sample to be redrawn so that I can double check.
That's true.
Find out whether it's from
True
collection
sample.
of the sample or the instrument is going out of whack.
Or the
Now,
technology used to
check.
draw the sample.
Yes, and the result is still the same, then I'll have to let the clinician know that this is what is going on with this patient and what are you going to do with it. And that is why, you see, sometimes they think we give result out from the lab just for nothing. No, it's to help in the diagnosis of a particular disease in a patient, and also to help to monitor, whatever is going on with that patient.
Doc, let me add right here quickly that if somebody's asking a question like, how do you know the result that you ran is valid? You already did mention that you repeat the sample if the sample integrity is in question. But then in the lab, what we also do is that we run what we call the daily QC. The daily QC are a standard stuff that we run that, okay, this is what potassium results should range in. And whatever has been tested or used is valid. So if you run a patient sample, you can say that, okay, your instrument is working, all the cartridges and everything that was used to test the sample is accurate. So it's actually the patient sample that has the issue. I just wanted to throw in that there, so at least our listeners will be confident that it is not a machine error, but then it's actually everything is done to make sure the machine is working accurately and valid. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Now, going forward, then we have blood urea nitrogen test, which measures, nitrogen from urea in blood to detect kidney impairment on high protein metabolism. Also, we have serum creatinine assessment that evaluates creatinine waste levels to indicate kidney filtration efficiency and function. You see that? So all those tests are put in place to measure and also to ensure that the kidney is performing the way it's supposed to. Then the estimated GFR calculation, they use this a lot, uses creatinine age and sex to estimate kidney waste filtration capacity. So your kidney waste filtration capacity depends on urea creatinine, your age, and your sex. So those three things must come to play. And that is what we use in calculation. So urinalysis and protein ratio. We also do this in chemistry to help detect protein, blood, and calculate protein ratio and creatinine ratio to assess kidney damage. That also can tell volume, when it's done and is increased for any reason, it sets an alarm that they should probably check on the kidney function test. So, moving right along, I don't want to bore you guys with too much information. The BUN, which I said earlier, that is very important, which is the blood urea nitrogen, helps to measure nitrogen in blood from urea formed during protein metabolism in the liver. And the kidney function indicator. So, for example, elevated BUN level, elevated blood urea nitrogen level can indicate impaired kidney functions or dehydration. Somebody that is dehydrated now, his urea will be very high.
No water drinking.
Yeah, exactly. So, and also the clinical importance of this is BUN is used with creatinine to assess renal health and to detect kidney disease. Keep that in mind. So I mentioned about this eGFR earlier, and I mentioned those, parameters we have to use to make sure that we measure it correctly. So serum creatinine origin. Serum creatinine is produced by muscle metabolism and filtered, by the kidneys. Elevated creatinine indicator, like high serum creatinine, indicates impaired kidney waste clearance. So if your kidney is not removing all the waste, and some remain in your system, is being detected, when we measure your BUN, that means something is wrong with your kidney. And it's good to get it early so that they can, fix it before it gets worse. Normal creatinine range, normal serum creatinine range from 0.6 to 1.3 milligrams per DL, varying by demographics, like I said earlier. So the eGFR and the CKD, which is the chronic kidney disease staging, uses creatinine and demographics to evaluate kidney function and stage of chronic kidney disease. I want you to, write that somewhere so that at least you will know. So the CKD prevalence, which is the chronic kidney disease in the US, the prevalence here is estimated cases over 35.5 million US adults, say roughly like 14% have CKD. Awareness, 9 in 10 adults with CKD are unaware that they have it. You see that? 9 out of 10, which means about 90% of those that have it don't even know that they have it. And age distribution, ages 65 and above, 34% prevalence. Ages 45 to 64 at 12%. Ages 18 to 44, 6%. So gender slightly more common in women, 14%, than men, 12%. So race, ethnicity, and all that, non-Hispanic Black adults, 20%, Hispanic adults, 14%, non-Hispanic Asian adults, 14%, and non-Hispanic white adults, 12%.
Wow.
So you can see how that, has really infiltrated into our society. Economic and mortality impact. See, the economic and mortality impact, see, Medicare spend over 77 billion per year on chronic kidney disease for people age 66 and above. And mortality, kidney disease is the 8th leading cause of death in the US.
Wow.
Dialysis, you see, you with a death rate of 16.5 per 100,000. So about 17 people per 100,000. So dialysis patients, highest death rates among CKD patients. So when your kidney is gone, there is very little you can do. And that is why dialysis comes in. Trends. So I use that to check the last 5 years. What has been the trend? So chronic kidney disease prevalence has remained steady or slightly increased, especially among older adults and those with diabetes, or hypertension. Diabetes remain the leading cause of kidney failure, responsible for 45% of new cases. So anybody that has diabetes and is not taking care of it, eventually is going to end up with kidney disease. So that is why you have to be very, very cautious and careful when they prescribe medications for you to use for a particular disease, especially diabetes. Make sure you are using them. Don't be adamant, or don't be, I don't know how to put it now, but some people are very, very crafty.
Stubborn.
They think they are getting away from it, but you are undoing yourself indirectly. So hypertension is the second most common cause, of your kidney being failed. So take that, to heart. So this graph illustration that I have here also demonstrates, the CKD prevalence in millions from 2019 to 2023. And you can see out of the number of people that are here, we have number of cases like 750. We have about CKD prevalence of 33 million. ESKD, about that should be about kidney transplant. You see the value there in 2021 was 25 million. In 2020 was 24. In 2023 was 28. So like I said earlier, it was being, it has been very, the same, but slightly increased, over the years. But the purpose of urinalysis in the lab, like I said earlier, is to detect substance like protein, blood, and glucose to assess kidney health. So if you have any of these in your urine, we want to investigate further. We want to check what could have led to this. Because normally your urine should be clear. There should be no blood, there should be no sugar, there should be no protein in your urine, and that should be a fresh urine sample. Okay, so proteinuria significance indicates excess protein in urine, signaling possible kidney glomerular damage. So remember I told you about the glomerulus, that thing that looks like cup. So when the blood comes through it, it should be able to stop the protein, that is the higher molecular, substances that are in your blood because it's a filter. Because it's a filter, you need to filter those heavy molecules out of your blood so that your blood can engage and also use these nutrients that is available. So in this case, if you have proteinuria, it indicates that excess protein in urine signaling possible kidney glomerular damage. So that the glomerulus, which is the cup that is accepting those fluid, is unable to attract and also to prevent those iron molecules from passing through. So urine protein and creatinine ratio quantitatively measures protein relative to creatinine to evaluate kidney function. So what we do with that is we measure your urine creatinine, we measure your urine protein, then we divide them by each other and we find the ratio. If it's within the range that we're looking at, then if it's normal, it's okay. But if it's not normal, if it's high, then they have to do something. Because it's an indication that something is wrong with the kidney.
Somewhere.
So 24-hour urine collection, that's what we do over 24 hours, helps assess total waste excretion and kidney function. What we do with that is at 7 p.m., we'll give someone, a jug to pee in. So you continue to pee in that jug until 7 a.m. the following morning. That's our 24 hours. So when we now collect that from you, we go to the lab, we measure it. What's the volume? Then from the volume, we have the volume down. Then we'll pour a little bit out of it to measure what we are looking for, which is your creatinine or your protein, to make sure that we have the real numbers. So if it's too high, then something is wrong. They have to do something with you and your kidneys.
Doc, I want you to just revisit the 24-hour collection. You said
Yes.
from 7 p.m. to the following day, 7 p.m. or 7 a.m.?
7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Yeah, 7 a.m.
Okay.
There's 7 p.m. to, sorry. 7 p.m. to 7 p.m.
The following day.
That's
okay.
24 hours. Yeah.
Okay.
It has to be 24 hours. Yes.
Okay.
It has to be 24 hours. And some people will say, okay, let's start from 7 a.m.
And
So
you
from
finish the
7
following
a.m. to 7 a.m. the following morning.
day. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So now electrolyte levels and interpretation. Like I said, kidney has what is called convoluted tubules, the functional units of the kidney, which is the nephron. So the electrolyte goes in and out of it: sodium, potassium, chloride, bicarbonate, and all that. So the role of this electrolyte in kidneys is to maintain electrolyte balance, crucial for body function and fluid regulation. So solution and potassium levels, like sodium controls fluid balance, potassium affects heart rhythm and must be regulated. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So sodium controls fluid balance, while potassium, and that is why when potassium is very high in the lab, we are very, very, in short, we are concerned, because we want to know is the sample immobilized? If the sample is not immobilized, we want to redraw that sample to make sure that it's actually high.
And Doc, let me just comment that for those who are wondering what the hemolysis is, what it means is that when we draw your sample and it's spun, we spin it, the top portion should be yellowish, light yellow, and the bottom should be accumulation of the cells. If the top part, which is supposed to be yellow, shows redness, it's too red, which means your cells are breaking down. That is the hemolysis that doctor is talking about. So there's a question about your sample. Thank you, sir. Continue, please.
Yeah, correct. Thank you so much. So sodium, like I said, controls the fluid balance, while potassium affects heart rhythm. Your heart has to be in a particular rhythm, and if it's out of rhythm, you might need what they call fibrillation that thing that they use to shock the heart. You don't want to get to that point. So when your potassium is high, they want to quickly control it by giving you some fluid to adjust it so that it comes back to normal.
Balance.
Because your heart doesn't like that. All right. Calcium and phosphorus importance. Calcium supports bones and muscles. Phosphorus influences the metabolism and kidney health. Okay. Some people, they will prescribe calcium for them to take, they will not take it. Or for their bone, to support their bones. And some, they might say they should take some supplements to help them to influence bone health. I mean, they will refuse to take it. I mean, you are undoing yourself.
That's true.
You need to make sure that whatever is prescribed, you are using judiciously. There must be a reason why those things were prescribed for you. Clinical interpretation significance. Accurate electoral interpretation aid renal diagnosis and effective patient management. Remember I said earlier that we use different parameters to help, educate our patient and also the clinician what we have in the lab. Because if the result in the lab is not correlating with whatever the patient has before, we have to question it. We have to ensure that, okay, that's what we call delta check. So that delta check is comparing the present result of the patient to
The previous
the
one.
result of the patient, previously. So I can go over maybe 2 or 3 months to see what the patient is getting. I mean, if his potassium has been 4.6, 4.5, 4.4, and all of a sudden, then I am having 7.2 now. Something is wrong. So I have to ask the phlebotomist to go and redraw the patient. So now, I was explaining earlier, if the sample is hemolyzed, I have to make sure that I have somebody else to go and draw that sample again and make sure that it's not hemolyzed. Because cannot give the clinician that kind of result, because they're going to treat that patient according to the results.
Based
And
on
that
the
is
result,
false. So keep that in mind. All right. So that takes me to the end of the slides that I have. Then I'm hoping for comments, questions, and feedback. And thank you so much. And I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you very much, Doc. This is very, very, very insightful. And that is why it's very important that we all do our annual or intermittent checks. Every now and then we go to the ER, they do a check on it. But then every year on your birthday, around your birthday, you should be in the habit of going to do your annual labs. That is when the doctors can detect, and Doc mentioned the delta check. That delta check is very important. It compares your previous results to your current. Let's say if I did my annuals last year and my, let's say A1C was 5.4, and this year I went in is 5.7, which means there's a shift. It's increased. And so you have to be careful and know that you have to be cautious that this thing is increasing or something. So the delta checks are very important. It gives the doctors the ability to compare and know that your health is either deteriorating or getting better, because the numbers keep shifting. Last year your cholesterol was, let's say, 190. This year you went in, it is 250, which means you are not eating properly and things are shifting. So the delta checks are very important. So Doc, thank you very much for this kidney function. Yeah, somebody may ask, okay, God gave us 2 kidneys. At what point do both of them spoil? Or can we just live anyhow and damage one and just leave the other one to work for us?
No. Well, far from that. The kidneys are made in such a way that they compensate each other.
Okay.
So, and if you look at the diagram again, you see both of them enters the bladder at some point. So whatever this one is doing, this one is also doing at the same time. I've had some stories about some people, donating their kidneys and all that. That's possible, because if the other kidney can still hold on and still function, the way they're supposed to, then that's no problem. But if you have given one of your kidneys out and the other one that you have also packed up, then you are at a disadvantage. So, like I said, they are made to compensate each other. If you look at the diagram, you see they look like two hairs like that, but both of them are going inside the bladder. And whatever this side is doing is also what this other side is doing.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned something about, can we live carelessly and be expecting, for the kidneys to just stay like that for forever? No. If you are drinking alcohol, if you are using some medications that are not prescribed, if you are using anything at all, some drugs that are so high potent, I mean that has a high potency that could, damage your kidneys, you don't have a chance, because once the kidney is packed up, the other thing you want to resort to is dialysis. That means your kidney cannot filter the blood by itself. So what they will do is they will ask you to come in, they will filter the blood for you, they will now put it back into you. That's what dialysis is doing. So the function that your kidney should have been able to handle is not able to handle it anymore. So the dialysis instrument is actually a kidney on its own, because that's the function. It's filtering your blood for you and it's putting it back into you. That's the function of it. And they will request you to come back again, maybe in another few weeks or so, to do the same thing. So you don't want to get yourself to that point, and that is why your health and the health of your kidney is very important. And what can you do to help these kidneys? Is to drink adequate water and to stay away from alcohol and to stay away from, drugs that were not prescribed. Anything that is not prescribed, you don't know the dosage of what you are taking. So those things, if you stay away from them, then you'll be giving your kidneys some, adequate time, to grow and also to perform their functions better. But don't forget, water. It's just like your car. If you don't put gas in your car and you are driving it, guess what is going to happen?
Breakdown.
The car may go for some time, but at a point it will tell you that no, I'm not going again, because there is no gas to drive it. So that's the thing. If your kidneys is like I said, it runs on water. Let me put it that way. Your kidney runs on water. And when the water is not available, the filtering of the blood and all other things that is doing, you will not be able to perform it. And the concept, yes, those pairs are very important. What the other one is doing is also what the other one is doing at the same time. Yeah, so you don't want one to pack up before you start, doing the right thing.
Good answer. That reminds me, let me take a water break. That's a demonstration.
And me too.
Yeah, you too take a water break. Water is very important. Very important. I have a nurse in my house. My wife is a nurse, so that is the magic phrase you use. Water. Don't wait to be thirsty.
Yes. Just
Africans, we always want to wait till we are thirsty before we want to drink. But my wife would tell me, don't wait to be thirsty. Just keep drinking. And the kidneys, they love what they want. They like to be, porous, and they like that water. And I think the question that the questioner asked, God did not give us a tube because of an accident or anything. He knows why he gave us two, because these two organs are always working. I mean, I wish we were given two hearts. That way we would not have any blood pressure. But, we only have one heart. But the kidneys, the amount of work they do, can you imagine? Doc mentioned those who like alcohol. You will go and drink. It's not even Christmas. It's not even New Year. You're always drunk. And you are forcing your kidneys to do overwork. Can you imagine? Like you put a load on a car that is trying to run. The load is so much, the car has to force to drag itself. That is how the kidneys are doing. They realize the load you are giving them is too much. They have to filter and give you clean substance. That is why the results that the lab produces, the BU and all that, they tell you that your kidney is in danger because you are making it work too much. So please, I mean, you don't always have to celebrate with alcohol or all that stuff. So can't you just take a water sip and so today I got something good. I want to celebrate with water. I will drink 3 gallons of water or something. Must we always celebrate with alcohol, drinks, and everything? I mean, we have this myth in our lives that is really hampering us. We always want to celebrate with drinks, alcohol, and excessive stuff. I mean, every now and then you splurge yourself, you pamper yourself a little bit, but it shouldn't be continuous. So it's very, very, very important. The 2 kidneys are not just for fun. I know friends both kidneys are gone. And so they have to go to what Doc mentioned, the dialysis. And that is not a joke. It is not a joke. If you have to go to dialysis, which means both of your kidneys are not functioning well, and so you have to get an assistant, an aid to filter. And apart from time waste, the inconvenience, I don't think it's easy. I mean, I don't know how it goes. I haven't experienced it. And in Jesus' name, I don't want to. But people who go through things, it's very, painful and excruciating or sometimes inconvenient that you have to lie down for this machine to do the work for you and then give you this thing. So it's not a good thing. We have to constantly visit our clinicians or annuals to make sure your numbers are right. We've done a program like that. Doc was here a few weeks ago or months ago. We did Know Your Numbers, where you go to your doctor, they kind of order your labs for you from sodium through whatever it is, and the numbers should be in range. If it's out of range, then they have to give you medication to correct it. So it's very important. So that was a very awesome response that you gave us. All right. Let me see whether there were any questions. Okay. And I think we already spoke about the validity of our results, that once our machines are calibrated, they are validated, whatever comes out is, accurate. As far as the lab is concerned, we don't go into diagnosis or treatment options. The only thing is that by virtue of what we do, we've experienced most of these lab results. So like Doc said, if your potassium gets to 5, if it's 6, then it's dangerous. 6, I would say it's critical. We have to call your provider after doing the duplicate testing. If we have to redraw the sample and make sure it is still in the 6 going, then you are going to cardiac arrest. Those results are very, very, very critical. All right, Doc, is there anything else we didn't say or you want to add?
Oh, yeah. Finally, I just want to put a disclaimer out there that this is just for educational purpose. That's and true. That we are not here, to tell you otherwise what your clinician is telling you. And this is not I'm not representing any organization because I have not been paid to do this. And I'm doing this, So just to let you know, and also keep in mind that your kidney health is also your health. And whatever you do to your kidneys this year, if it's good, you are going to reap the fruit of it. If it's not good, 5 years down the road, even before then, you also reap the fruit of it. So if you are good to your kidneys, the kidneys will be good to you too. Drink more water, stay away from those drugs that hamper you, and also, don't drink alcohol. Just stay away from it, and then you will be fine.
Amen. All right, let me take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll summarize and we'll be done for the night. Stay put.
Chimafidi nunkotu era one radio. Samupe jumpe bietia. Chimafidi nunkotu era one radio. Oh, chintu ayumpam chima. Chintu asam pam chima. Chintu egratum chima. Era one.
All right, sorry about that. This is the Health is Wealth show. Your health is your word. Protect it. And tonight we looked at the kidney functions and laboratory tests, and the campaign. The presentation was headed by Dr. Babatunde Oloyede, my buddy, with all the skills in charge of the chemistry department in Federal Medical Center. And he's been here several times. I mean, he's a frequent runner here. He's no stranger to this broadcast. So, unfortunately, we don't have too much money to pay him. So, like as I said earlier on, all this is educational. We are paying back, or we're giving back to the community what we went to school to acquire. Sometimes I think we do some of them on student loan, some on military provision. But whatever we were able to study, we are giving to the community. We are paying back. So this is not a pay program where we receive anything. It's just because voluntarily we are giving back to the community. So don't take it for granted. Some of you, whatever you get free, you think it has no value. This is very valuable. This is a whole 1 hour of Doc spending his time here. He could have been somewhere chilling, of course, not drinking alcohol, but chilling, but he decided to come here and share. So please go to our Facebook, YouTube, and share this information, because knowledge is power. If you know it and you do it, it's going to help you. So we look at understanding renal roles and diagnostic procedures. And then he also gave us an overview of the kidney's function and lab tests. Of course, he gave us the structure of the kidney. I mean, how the kidney looks like, that glomerular, the nephron, the units of the kidney. Mentioned the macro section, the micro section. We looked at the biological rules of the kidneys, where he talked about excretion of metabolic waste, the homeostatic regulation, endocrine function, vitamin D activation. We looked at renal function tests. He spoke about the blood urea nitrogen test, what is done, the serum creatinine assessment, the estimated GFR calculation, and urinalysis and protein ratio. I think he gave us something about detail about the BUN, the definition of BUN, kidney function indicator, influencing factor. He spoke about clinical importance. Then we went to serum creatinine, and he explained the EGF, what it means. He gave us the normal creatinine range. You need to know your range so that when you do your test and it's out of range, you know that, either it's above or below. So the doctors, of course, will tell you what to do or give you. And then he spoke about the CKD prevalence, and he gave us some statistics that USA, in this country, chronic kidney disease prevalence. He gave us about 35.5 million US adults, estimated cases. And he gave us an awareness of 9 in 10, which is 90%. He gave us the age distribution in terms of 65 plus was about 34% prevalence. Ages 45 to 64 was 12%, and ages 18 to 44 was 6%. He gave us the gender. I'm glad that's what he said. And some people, when you hear sex, you are thinking about how many times a week, but that's not what it means. It means gender, whether you are male or female. Spoke about race or ethnicity. You have to know all these things. Then end-stage disease. Of course, there are several stages of disease, kidney disease. We have the initial stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and all that. So we didn't go too much into detail, but that's very important. We were actually looking at the lab section. And he threw in some economic and mortality impact. Of course, you can't just come and talk about kidney lab results and walk away. He gave us the mortality. Medicare spends over 77 billion per year on CKD care for people age 66 plus. Can you imagine if this money was used for something else, but because of health issues, the government has to spend that? And the mortality, kidney disease is the 8th leading cause of death in the US, with a death rate of 16.5 per every 100,000 people. And then the dialysis patient, where he says highest death rates among CKD patients. And the dialysis is a machine that filters your blood to make sure what your kidney was supposed to do, the machine is doing for you. And then he gave us some trends between 2020 and 2025. He gave us statistics. So this one, and then gave us a graph illustration. All this, when you go back to the broadcast, they are all there. Please share this knowledge so that we are all aware, because knowledge is power. Well, Doc, we can't thank you enough. Thank you very much for this insightful information. We are blessed and privileged to have you again here, because, as I said, you are a frequent flyer. You have made so many miles, and you continue to make miles as we continue to educate our community. All right. Is there anything I said that is out of work, or something I should have added? You can add it before we leave.
Yeah, you've done so well. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And as you said, and my wife always agrees, drink water. Drink, even when you are not thirsty. Just pass by the kitchen and drink water. Your kidneys will thank you later, and you'll be a happy person. Well, on that note, I want to say thank you to all our listeners. Go to Facebook, go to YouTube, and watch the clip again. On behalf of my studio manager, Dr. Setutu, and the Era One team, the Health is Well show, thank you very much, Doc. We thank you very much. Have a good evening, and God willing, we'll meet again same time next time. All right, bye-bye.
Sampa Dietia, Chimafidi non Kotu, Era One Radio. Samupe, Jumpa Dietia, Chimafidi non Kotu, Era One Radio. Oh, and Yumpamchima, Chimtu, Asampamchima.